beginning. And this is where I would like to ask that, just because you're strict about it, there's such a way to really help somebody, because people who are trying to lose weight, I mean, I remember being talked down to. You don't want to be talked down to. You want to educate. There's a certain way to do it. It's not always easy, but remembering those stages and providing really good information, this is where I think we can be a little bit better when we're trying to help others, is that say, you know what? Yes, you are drinking that Diet Coke. Let me show you another thing that's just a little bit better. Look, Zevia.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm not a soda drinker, so this happens to be a cream soda, where it would have been one of my choices for a very special treat a long time ago. But for those people who struggle with, no, I got one, thanks. So John is a soda drinker, and he's having a hard time. Yeah, a very hard time giving up his Diet Coke. So it's a deal, right? So just knowing that there's extra things out there that they can do. Let me answer a few questions here. Let's see. And Annette says, do you drink Diet Coke? I personally don't. I know it's a struggle. I know it's really hard for those who do. But Zevia is a really good option for you. They make the soda. I think they make a grape. They make cream soda, which is mine is. I love cream soda, but it's a really good option. So I have a couple of things sitting here by my table that I can just share, because everybody wants to know what's in your basket.
Yeah. Before you move on to that, though, I have a couple of questions, and there's been like 3 or 4 questions that have asked this. So I think it's going to tie in with several of our goals here, which is not only to educate, but also to try and answer some of these questions at the same time. I'm going to guess by the name of Zevia that it uses stevia as the sweetener. Is that the sweetener in it?
Yes. Okay.
And so in your cooking opinion, how do you use stevia as, like where does it rank in your favorites as far as sweeteners for when you're using it in cooking?
So I'm pretty picky on my sweeteners, and I do different sweeteners for different recipes. And it's really hard, because stevia by itself can have a horrible aftertaste.
Right. Yeah, I do too.
I don't like those little drops that people put in their coffee. Like, I don't do that. So sometimes you might see in a couple of recipes where we put, monk fruit here with a couple drops of stevia here. It just depends. There's so many, but these, I just happen to pull them. These are my personal favorites.
Okay, so hold on. So that powdered one is monk fruit, huh?
Yes.
And, they're both monk fruit? Or okay, that's monk fruit.
This one's a monk fruit, and it happens to be the powdered. I also buy the granular, but I just don't have any right now. Okay. I really like this one because it doesn't really have an aftertaste. Now, this one is the one that I probably use the most. And this one I can buy at my local grocery store. But this one, it's a blend, and there's different ones. But this one is the granular all-purpose blend. Can you see that?
Yeah. So hold on. So it's a blend of what? It's got stevia and what else in it?
Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you. It has mainly erythritol and stevia leaf extract. So this is the perfect amount of blend that gives you just the right amount of sweetness without that overpowering bitter taste. So,
and I think this is a perfect way to say, these are some great tools. When you look at the master chef say, I don't like stevia. My husband is deathly allergic to it too. It's one of the sweeteners that has allergies in many areas. So anytime there's stevia in something, I'll just say, Chad, put a drop of this on the inside of your mouth. And if he gets a blister on the inside of his mouth, I'm like, oh, it's got stevia in it. And he's not alone in that. There are quite a few people. I actually saw one of the comments say, yes, I'm allergic to stevia. That is not uncommon. The erythritol, again, that's a sugar that's not supposed to spike your sugars. But boy, I'll tell you, it really does suppress your Dr. Boz ratio, which suggests that it's suppressing your insulin. Now, when you do studies on it, they'll say, we did not suppress insulin, or we did not spike insulin. And I would just say, I bet I have had patients where that the sugar might only change a little bit, but man, did their ketones, blood ketones drop after they put in those sweeteners.
Yeah.
And I think once again, this comes down to the phase they're in. When I have a type 1 diabetic who's injecting insulin, so they don't get to decide how much insulin happens. And I have them use some of these sweeteners while we are waking up some of their mitochondria on that first phase of a ketogenic diet.
Yep.
I will let them have the sweeteners, especially as a type 1, because I'm controlling their insulin.
Yeah.
But boy, it's not forever. It is that phase of how do you let go of some of those comfort foods that they've been eating for 2 decades, having a bad day, having a good day, stressed out, and they use these foods as their coping skills.
Yeah.
And now I'm about to take them all away by leaving that sugar sweet, or that sweet taste for them. It's a step. In the perfect world, you would have none of that. You would have sweetness on your birthday or something, once a year.
Yeah.
But then we live in the real world where you say, in this phase 1, you're okay, go to the sugar substitutes. I ended up with a horrific case of I don't know, like a colonoscopy prep one night when I had a craving and I tried to convert the sugar recipe, and I just used, I went to the internet and said, how do you take table sugar and convert it to erythritol? And, I should have known better, because we use that as a laxative for preps. And boy, it went right through me. I was up all night, not kidding, all night. And every time I eat it.
I'm pretty sure every keto dieter has
Yes.
with you at this moment, because there's just some things that maybe you eat that are really good. This reminds me, as we're talking about the sweeteners. Oh, and people are asking about the Swerve. I do use Swerve.
Okay, hold on. So what's the difference between Swerve and the stevia?
So it's certain blends. I'm trying to remember. I don't even have any with me to tell you exactly what it is, but you remember when I was wearing that continuous glucose monitor?
Yes.
I did some testing to make sure it didn't spike, and it didn't.
Oh, good.
The other sweetener, these skinny syrups.
Oh, okay. So what kind of sweetener does that use?
So this one, it says cellulose gum sucralose.
Sucralose?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I swore that this, it just tastes too good. And this is another one that I stayed away from. My husband puts this in his coffee every morning. It's the butter toffee one. He loves it. And I'm just like, you know what? That tastes too good. I'm not going to have it. No, whatever. Well, when I wore that continuous glucose monitor, and we never talked about this, by the way, because I've had people asking, this is one that I tested one morning and it did not spike.
Really?
That's right. Now, when I have sweet coffee, I want it the next day and the next day.
I know I can't do it either. Like I remember the day, this is one of my favorites. And there was one comment saying, I like your water. I'm like, I remember being in my mid 20s and saying, I need to give up the soda pop. And I love the bubbles. And so I used these bubbly waters and in my 20s, and it's now my favorite thing. Like my husband says, have I got if he's going for groceries, he knows to check what's the supply of this, because if I'm out of this, I really do find that's the bubbles. The soda pop, letting go of soda pop can be really hard. And so you say the sweetness I had to let go of. I like the bubbles though, so that's what I've kept.
John does too. So we have something here that's like a bubble water called Topo Chico. So he really likes his Topo Chico for that exact reason, the bubbles.
What's Topo Chico? It's
the same thing. It's just bubble water. That's all.
Okay. I've never heard of it. Okay.
It's the brand we have down here. Here's another skinny syrup, birthday cake.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
Let me tell you about these though, because I don't use these a whole lot because I don't need a whole lot of sweet, but these over snow cone ice in the summer for the kids, it's really good to have a sugar-free treat.
My kids are going to move in with you because I say no to all that crap. And it's because I'm like, as soon as I taste it, I end up in trouble. So I should just give you my boys for the summer because they will think you are awesome.
Don't show them this video. But I mean, if they're going to have sweet, like, you know, you don't know what they're trading at school. You don't know what they're doing.
And I think the other thing that's really been a powerful part of our family is the allergy my husband has to them. Like, he gets bloody diarrhea and all of his inside of his mouth will slough. And so it is a true allergy. It is like, it is real. And so I think because of that, I've just kept away from a lot of that. There's a couple people in here saying, wait a minute, these carbonated drinks, are they good for you? And I'll say, there's a lot of data about the carbon in cola and how it is very bad for your bones. The specific one is coming from Debbie Garcia, who says, I heard these were bad for your bones. And I'll tell you, my boys know that they can have alcohol at 21, but they can't have a cola with my permission. They cannot have cola until they are 24. And that is because that is the age their bones are fully grown as boys. And until then, if you're in my house, if I'm paying the bills, you are not having cola, and they are forbidden. Now everybody says, oh, I bet you they drink it behind your back. I'm like, well, if they do, the message they're getting from me is it's not healthy. It does cause a sequestration of the phosphates in your body. And if you're having that dark cola, it has health consequences. So to answer Debbie's question, I mean, it's not the carbonation that's the bad thing. It's the carbonated colas that have that association. And I would, which leads me to another one of my favorites. So
please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Stay tuned.